witches.
Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the new year, the newest episode of the new year. New season, new us, new everything.
Maybe.
Just kidding. We're gonna say all the ums that we have in our life
And
because why not?
basically,
Yeah. What else was it? No, see, there he goes. I did it again. What was the other one? Oh,
laughing.
laugh. Yeah, no, we're
Yeah,
gonna
but I do
try to do
have a
more of
bone to
that.
pick with all of you because we were just informed that a few of our episodes, one in particular, but that the sound is cutting out. Like my mic is just turning off and it's just Emily for like the whole episode. And like we have an email and we have social media. So let us know, bitches.
I know. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean our audio is? And then when I went through and listened to it, I was like,
Yeah, like my
let me
audio
fix
didn't
that.
come in till like the last 5 minutes, which good news. I am over halfway to getting my new laptop and hopefully that will help with those kind of glitchy issues. But
Until then.
yeah, let us know when there's a technical glitch like that because the fuck?
I know. I was like, dang, nobody even said anything.
I
Well, they
know.
did. But like, that was back in September.
All right. Well, yeah, and it
And
was
nobody
Brittany that
said
said
nothing.
something. She lives with me.
Huh?
She has to say something.
Yeah. After it happened, somebody made a comment and I was like, bitch, you're late. But anyways, so this is a new folklore episode where we will be exploring Japan in all of its wonderful glory. Um, so over the next several episodes, we're going to explore the shape-shifting, shimmering worlds of Japan and their mythology system,
Brittany's
creation
really excited
stories,
about
sun
this.
goddesses, storm gods, mischievous spirits, monsters that are in the forest, rivers, shadows, all of the above. Today we're just gonna kind of I'm gonna lay the foundation for us. We're gonna essentially go through the three big questions. What is Japanese mythology? Where does it come from? And why has it remained so influential over 1,000 years? It also is quite common in book references, movies, and TV shows. It doesn't necessarily have to be in Japanese books, TV shows, movies. It has bled over into the Western world as well. So it's not solely a niche thing. It is something that has become worldwide and it's been quite influential in a lot of things. Um, several horror movies, if you will,
Yeah.
which I love The Forest horror movie. It is so good and it is such a like what the fuck is happening kind of situation. So I absolutely adore it. Um and it's just one of those like masterpieces where you get to learn a little bit more about folklore of the I don't remember the forest name, but it's known as the Suicide Forest. It is the giant forest just before Mount Fuji. But it you learn a lot about the background of that as well as like the story itself. So it's wonderful. I love it. But let's begin. So
Yay.
what So what is Japanese mythology? When we talk about mythology, we're talking about more than three stories, or not three, sorry, more than old stories. Mythology is a cultural memory. It is a way of explaining the world, human behavior, natural forces, and the mysteries of existence. We learned a lot about that in the Hawaiian folklore segment, how everyone does one thing because of the spirit, and these natural forces were caused by these. So it's not it's very common across multiple mythology areas. Um so there are a couple of, I guess, religions that it's basically it's woven, it's like woven into several threads. Two of them stand out the most clearly. This is the most common one that you're going to see or hear of Japan. So it's called Shinto myths, or the indigenous heartbeat. Shinto is Japan's native spirituality. At the center of Shinto belief are kami. Kami are spirits or deities that inhabit natural places, forces, and sometimes even objects. Kami can be the spirit of a mountain, the soul of a river, a storm, a tree, an ancestor, a guardian of a village, or even the spirit of a tool used lovingly for hundreds of years. We can kind of see a little bit of this in Western history, where a lot of people buy haunted paintings or haunted objects. There's museums of this. I believe Zach Bagans owns one out in LA, or not LA. What is that place? Las Vegas. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. I tell you what, I rang in the New Year sick, so here we are.
So did Brittany.
I wasn't even sick yesterday. That's the shitty part. I was sick literally probably we watched the Stranger Things finale, and progressingly through it's a 2-hour finale, first of all. So like buckle up bitches if you haven't watched it. But straight up, it wasn't even an hour in, and I'm like, what the fuck, the story's done? How do we have an hour left? And then all of a sudden it hit me where I was like, oh, I don't feel good.
Oh no.
Yeah, so excuse me if I sound a little nasally or if I sneeze a lot. Um, but anyways, we do see this a lot in the Western world, where a lot of people believe that paintings or even mirrors are often held by a spirit or something from the great beyond. I think England has several mirrors or paintings or even objects left over from like the Tudor era, the Great Renaissance, all of that. I know there is an entire museum in Las Vegas with items like that, so it's not uncommon. So Shinto myths explain how Japan was created, how the gods were born, and why certain mountains and rivers are sacred. Now, there are something known as Buddhist myths. So, Buddhism is also a heavily, because you have Shinto shrines, but you also have like Buddhist shrines, and you have like the combination of religions and all of that. So, this one is more of the imported layer. So, Buddhism arrived in Japan around the 6th century, bringing bodhisattvas, cosmic realms, and moral parables. Instead of replacing Shinto, Buddhism blended with it a fusion known as Shinto Butsu Shugo. Shinbutsu Shugo. Excuse my pronunciation. Uh, Japanese mythology is still woven into daily life. They have multiple shrines all over. They have festivals. They have anime, manga, and everyday language. It's not just a relic, it's part of their living life. It's a living mythology. It's basically living mythology, which is so cool because they have festivals, so many festivals. They have so many shrines. And even if you watch anime or read manga, they show the amount of festivals within it, and
Yeah.
kids are always a part of some type of festival. They're I think Oran, which if you haven't watched Oran Host High School Club, er, I always get the name mixed up because it's such a long name. It is so cute. It is no horror, there's no supernatural, there's no nothing, but it's so freaking cute. But there's multiple festivals that those kids are involved in, and that's from, like, a private school. Public school still does the same thing, so it's living mythology, it's an everyday part of their life. But where do these myths actually come from? So to understand Japanese mythology, we need to turn to the two fundamental texts, the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki. The Kojiki are records of ancient matters. 712 Common Era is kind of the time frame that we're working with. 712, sorry. Apparently I don't know how to say my numbers. The Kojiki is the oldest surviving book in Japan. It was compiled by court scholars under imperial order, partially to legitimize the imperial family by tracing their lineage back to the gods. But it contains creation myths, the genealogy of gods, tales of divine siblings, early heroic legends, the origins of rituals and festivals, and all other items that can kind of help guide, I guess, life. The tone is intimate, poetic, and sometimes humorous. Gods argue, cry, laugh, make mistakes, and reconcile. Now, the Nihon Shoki are known as the Chronicles of Japan. This is from 720 Common Era. More formal and political, the Nihon Shoki presents multiple versions of myths, sometimes 3 or 4 variations of the same story. Ugh, sorry, my eyeballs itch. So, why were these texts written? What came of it? Why? It's kind of like the Bible. Why? Political legitimacy. It was to reinforce the imperial family's divine ancestry, especially their connection to the Amaterasu, known as the sun goddess. It provided them a national identity. Japan was interacting more with China and Korea and needed a written history. Now, these countries are absolutely ancient. America's old, but not in terms of history. That history has been consistently uh, erased multiple times over because it's indigenous history. It's not colonial history. Colonial history is the more common one that we have.
Records of.
Yeah. But like England, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Korea, Russia, even, they have years and years of work. It's not like 400 years, like thousands of years. Egypt is one of the most ancient civilizations known to man, and Japan, Korea, and China are all up there too. So they needed a written history, and they knew it. This is also one of the best ways to preserve of oral tradition, which unfortunately is something that the indigenous people did not do. They were mainly oral storytellers. That's how they passed down stories. A lot of it wasn't written, which is fine. If that's part of their culture and that's how they decided to preserve stuff, that is one thing. Unfortunately, that can get changed or deviate throughout time or even forgotten. So it was best to preserve the oral tradition because many stories were at risk of being lost. So, the oral tradition behind the text, before these books, myths lived in the voices of these storytellers and priests and in communities. They were sung, they were chanted, they were performed, and they were adapted. The written versions are snapshots, not the originals, but they do reflect the political needs of the time, the regional variations, and the centuries of retelling. It also helps history not be changed. It helps keep that original idea behind it because oral stories can be adapted. They can be adapted towards sinister means, they can be adapted towards their own agenda. Now, for those who watch the comedy show that is America, they see it's really sad that other countries are now like following our anything.
Like, it's
Like
fucking
before they
reality
didn't,
TV, like
yeah, yeah. Like this is what American reality TV is like. Welcome. So currently in current time, critical race theory, which is something that is very, very important to not only those who were or like those of the race that are prejudice. Basically, if you're black, like this is important to you.
yeah, and, like, it should be important to
Any
everyone
race that's
because
not white,
it's
yeah.
just basically, it wants to teach the real history the way that it happened. American history is taught in this whitewashed, like, Disney version. It's not taught how it really
I was
happened.
gonna say they want to Disneyfy it
Yeah.
because if you read any of the fairy tales from Disney, like the
The
original Grimm
originals,
brother
yeah, they're
fairy
dark as fuck.
tales, like Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that
I
bitch
know
cuts her
Japan's
feet
got their
off, Beauty and the Beast, I don't remember
yeah.
what happens in that one, but
The sibling Beauty has stepsisters and they were jealous of her beauty because the beast
oh,
and then the
yeah,
beast
they,
ends up
like
eating her.
oh, yeah,
So like
and
there's a
Ariel
lot
turns into sea
of
foam, like
yeah, because the prince doesn't return her love, like
yeah,
does, but then like takes it back and then
yeah,
marries somebody else. So she either has to kill him or
turn into
and
sea foam.
to yeah, so she either has to kill him to stay a human but remove the pain in her feet, or she turns to sea foam and she loves him so much she doesn't. She turns to sea foam. And so, like, it's a very kid friendly way of saying history. That's basically what critical race theory
Yeah, it's to make
is
white people
not
not feel
about.
guilty. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I wake up guilty. Like, don't even have to worry about it.
right, like, and but, like, also, my ancestors were shitty people. They were. I can acknowledge that and still acknowledge that that's not my fault.
Yeah.
Like, do I think that reparations need to be yes, absolutely, but I know it's not my fault that that needs to happen. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna fight for it
Yeah.
to happen, but
I only
if
feel guilty because I know I get better
that is different.
outcomes.
Guilt over your privilege is different than guilt over the actions of previous like, of ancestors.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the benefit of writing down traditions that were once oral stories. So there you go. Um, Now, there were a lot of major themes in Japanese mythology. It is rich with themes that reflect the landscape and worldview of the people who shaped it. Nature, like the number one, nature uh, as sacred. Mountains like Fuji are sacred. Rivers have guardian spirits. Trees can house kami, and even rocks can be divine. Order versus chaos. Now, this is very common amongst most, if not all, mythology. There's always a piece of order, and then there's always a piece of chaos to combat it. The most famous example is the relationship between Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and Susanoo. What? Susanoo. Oh, because it's N-O-O. It's not new, it's no. Susa n sorry. I added the pronunciations and it, like, it breaks it out and it confounded my brain. Susa no. So, Susa no was her stormy, unpredictable brother. So, their conflicts and reconciliations often symbolize that balance. Okay. It also has a lot of themes with ancestors and spirits. The boundary between the human world and the spirit world is thin. Rituals maintain those relationships with the unseen. Transformation and shapeshifting, fox spirits or the kitsune, and the raccoon dog spirits or the tanuki shift forms to teach lessons or cause mischief. Now, I absolutely love the kitsune and the tanuki. One,
We've talked about kitsune on here before.
yeah, the the chaos part of it is hilarious. I absolutely adore it. And I love foxes. I think they're so fucking cute. Raccoons, also cute. And they are like the most adorable things. I freaking love them. But add a dog to them, even better. And anime makes them stupid cute.
Yeah.
So I love them. Uh, Another one of their symbols or I guess themes are morality as balance, not judgment. Something the Western world never got the memo of. So, Japanese myths rarely divide characters into heroes and villains. They often explore the harmony, the consequences, and the responsibility of those two, which I absolutely love because I'd rather like read about how the balance of everything and the consequences of your actions. I think that is more the golden rule than anything.
Karma.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of karma.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
um so I honestly like those types of mythologies, those religions, those any of that versus like divine punishment and like you're going to hell for doing this unless you like ask for forgiveness sort of whatever. So I'd rather teach that versus like to my kids. I'd rather teach that versus terrifying them,
Right.
making them scared. And that's probably well, I know Christian uh people. I didn't colonize Japan, but definitely invaded quite a few times and I know it's a very Christian culture over there now. Um they like wrap everything into like one whole little Japanese culture, but they often share the same thing. I also really like that they teach kids at a young age like discipline, but like appropriate discipline. They make their kids like clean their school or clean the schools at the end of the day. They don't have janitor or like they
Yeah.
have janitors and all
They
that.
also cook the lunch and everything. Like,
Mhm.
they're
Like
actually
it
teaching their
teaches them
children how to live, how to be a functioning member of society.
yeah, and teaching them how to be kind too because if and I actually watched a TikTok on it was between two people. They were on like the subway in New York and they were like, I think everyone in America needs to have a job where they work in a restaurant. They have to work in some service industry before they can go on to any other position they want. They have to be something like a dishwasher. They have to serve tables. They have to be a line cook or like whatever to teach them basic manners of the service industry people and to be kind to them. And it's like, Japan's already got that.
Sorry.
They've got it on lock.
I'm listening and I love their system and I think it's amazing. I think Chaos just heard your voice.
Chaos, buddy, my baby.
He popped his little head up and said, "Moo."
Mom, is that Auntie Em?
Literally, Emily is the only person that Chaos likes other than me and Brittany, and it's insane.
I was there.
Yeah.
He was still 6 months, like, he
Yeah.
wasn't a young little chaos baby. He was older, but I love
Yeah.
that little nugget.
He's
You get so
rotten.
mad when I
He's
pick
not
him up, but
little
he
anymore. He's
yeah, but
fucking
he gets so
huge.
mad he gets so mad when I pick him up and I, like, force love upon him, but
Yeah.
then, like, he also liked it at the same time. He
He
just didn't wanna
does.
admit
He
it.
does.
But anyways, so why does Japanese mythology matter today? It continues to shape the modern world and the modern life. Festivals and traditions. There are many festivals that reenact mythic events, the descent of gods, seasonal rituals, and the purification ceremonies. Places like Korea and China also have these. Um, China has something to do with the giant, like, dragon puppets. They often do dances or shows with the giant dragons at funerals, at births, at celebrations for a community, all of that. I know Korea has something similar to that as well. And Japan has multiple shows, and they wear a formal, like, ancient garb. They have all kinds of things. Um, They also help inspire pop culture. So, the beloved anime, manga, and film reinterpret ancient themes. So, yokai are known as supernatural creatures. They appear everywhere in a lot of different, I guess,
There's
whether
like a
you want
kid show
to.
right now, right? Or there was a kid show,
Yeah, I think so.
and they had like the little discs that you
Mhm.
yeah.
There's one that apparently was, like, is named as, like, the best anime of, like, since the 90s. And it is about, like, a little tiny alien that comes from a different world, like a happy world or whatever, and its only goal is to make people happy or, like, shape people happy, and then he sees this girl who is clearly having, like, the person who was making these recommendations actually made comments about how within the first episode, he was crying, laughing, and, like, smiling through the tears all at once, and it shows very major, like, real life shit. It shows bullying, it shows, like, self-harm in ways. It shows how, like, having a family or coming from, like, a poor-ish, like, family or background can really affect your mental health, and it can, like, abuse, physical, all of that, um, it shows, like, the very, very real life shit, and it's, like, cute, I guess? I have never watched it, but when I saw, like, the anime and, like, the little alien, I was like, "Oh, that's adorable. That's probably some cute little show." No, it's definitely not. And you got, like, animes like Attack on Titan, straight up, nothing about it is cute. Everything is terrifying. And then you got cute little Oron Host High School Club. That's adorable. And then you got Sailor Moon that has literally been as a child, Sailor Moon was my life. Like,
Yeah,
it
fair.
helped me through. I loved Sailor Moon. My dad sent me, I think, like, a couple of years ago, he sent me, like, a Christmas gift. And he basically said, like, I feel like you'd probably want these. And I opened them up, and my mom, being a huge Disney fan, my mom would always buy, like, those cells is what they're called, but they're, like, the several layers of a picture from Disney. You have, like, the background and, like, the next bit and then the next bit, but, like, the further to the beginning of the picture you go, like, the more in depth and, like, colorful, and it just
Yeah.
shows, like, dimension basically is what they're called. She, one year, I don't know when, why, or whatever, but she bought me 2 mini versions of, Sailor Moon cells. Fucking love them. I was gonna say I had an alarm clock of Sailor Moon, I had a lunchbox of Sailor Moon, all of that. He sent all of that to me, and he was like, "Here you go, I feel like you'd want these," and you know what? I did, thank you.
Nice. I love that.
So, yeah, so anime is not just a Japanese thing, it bled over fuck, Pokemon? Hello, 20 years of
Oh my
Pokemon, let's
god.
be real.
I asked my sister this morning because my niece's birthdays, one of them is December and one of them's January, but they always have their party in January.
Mhm.
And I asked my sister, the older one is easy. Harry Potter, Stitch, she's easy. The younger one, her needs or her like likes switch so frequently that I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, what is she into right now? She wants the Pokemon encyclopedia that has all of the Pokemon in it with like their strengths and all of that shit. I bitch went to
Oh,
Barnes and Noble
she wants
today
a
and bought it.
Pokédex?
She does. I went to Barnes and Noble today and bought it. And so, and her favorite Pokemon is Eevee. So I'm gonna go on like Amazon or something. And
Girl, she lacks her some foxes.
yeah, I was like, that little nerd. I love her. So anyway,
That's cute. Well, I bought Will, like, homemade Pokemon cards because, like, he
I
fucking
know
loves
I love
Pokemon.
those so much, and they pop up on my For You all the time now.
Yeah. So for Christmas this year, I bought Will, customized Pokemon cards of his family and animals that he's had throughout the years. And, like, I had the dogs, I had our cat, I had the pig he used to have, the ferret he used to have. I had his stepmom, his dad, his mom. He has one, I have one, and then he's always talking to his nephew. His nephew's only a few years younger than us, and his nephew they're like siblings. They're even though they're nephew, uncle, they're like siblings, and it's so funny. And I made him one, and Will's like, "I will shit myself if I ever got, like, an Austin Pokemon card," and I laughed, and I was like, "Yeah?"
Yeah, will you? Will you?
So and it's so funny because Austin always goes to Will for advice and, like, that emotional support, but, like, doesn't take any of the advice or, like, any of that emotional support. He just goes to him apparently for shits and giggles. And so on the card, I put Austin and his emotional support uncle because I had asked, first of all, I had asked Austin for a picture. I was like, "Give me a picture of yourself." He goes, "What? Why?" And I was like, "Well, I asked you for help on this Pokemon card thing, and I think it'd be hilarious that Will gets a Pokemon card of you. So I think I need you to give me a picture so I can make him a Pokemon card." And he was like, "Well, I don't know what picture to get." And I was like, "Any face fucking photo.
Just a
This is
just a
literally what I
just a
took off
picture.
your grandma's page. Like, I went to your grandma's Facebook page and I took this photo from God knows when. That's what I used. I took this photo of Will, handed it to him, all of these things. And he was like, okay, well, why don't you just use this picture? It's literally a photo when he was like 6 and Will was like 9 or 10 as children. And I'm like,
No. That's
you
not
couldn't
gonna
have
work.
added, I was like, you couldn't have added, I don't know, a photo of just you? He goes, no, this is fine. This is fine. And I was like, okay. And so when I sent in that photo and I could title it, and I was like, Austin, his emotional support uncle.
I
You
love
fucker.
it. I love
So,
it.
like, we're in our 30s, and the fact that it's still such a cultural phenomenon, the fact that, like, your niece fucking loves Pokemon, it is
Yeah.
still such an like, a huge cultural thing,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, pop culture is a huge part here, and it's all thanks to Japanese mythology. Um, Other items such as symbols and language, the rising sun, you can actually often see, what is it, paintings, pictures, or even some people have been getting some tattoos with the rising sun on it. It's just a red sun. That's all it is. It's basically the red sun on their flag, the white flag with the red dot. That's what it is the rising sun. The chrysanthemum and the countless expressions. that carry mythic resonance. They also have cultural resilience. Japanese mythology adapts, it absorbs new ideas and continues to offer meaning in the ever changing world. And I think they actually lead the technology world.
Yeah, I
I
would
think they lead it.
I think
I know they fucking lead the video game world.
yeah, no, I would agree, they probably do. I feel like most of our tech comes from Japan and China, but more Japan, and it that's why right now is such a hard time because the fucking that saggy testicle in the White House and his tariffs.
I have to send you I have to send you a video. It's like, have you ever heard of the chicken shop date?
No.
It is it's just a British girl who takes it is an interview show. It's a TV and not TV, but it's an interview show that you can like watch on like YouTube or whatever, but she takes celebrities on a chicken shop date and they go and just literally have chicken nuggets and fries and that it's like a date. And it's funny because there's like flirty banter with it. I don't know if you know much. Her name's Amanda Demila, some or another. I don't know. Some I don't I can never pronounce her name, but I always hear what's his name? He played the second Spider-Man, the British Andrew Garfield. He always says it so fast, and I can never catch it, like, correctly, but they, like, flirt, and a lot of people think that their connection is so real that it's off the screen too, and other people are like, "It's just part of the bit," but she essentially flirts with everybody. Like, she asked this one person, like, "How many kids do you want?" He goes, "Oh, I think 6 kids would be great," and she goes, "You didn't wanna, ask me first, like, to see how many I wanted? Like, you didn't wanna talk about that with me?" And it's just, like, jokes or whatever. Well, she had a
Right.
drag queen on.
Oh,
Trixie
nice.
Mattel, she had a drag queen on. The comment, 'cause she's British. She asked, she goes, "Have you ever met Trump?" And Trixie goes, "No." Well, if you ever met him, what would you say to her or say to him? And, like, her response was golden. So I'll have to send that video to you. But
Yes, please
anyways,
do.
it was so fucking funny. Anyways, so to kind of recap what we've gone through today, we've explored the foundations of Japanese mythology, what it is, where it comes from, and the themes that kind of shape it, and why it still matters, and the significance that it offers today. We will continue this journey through Japanese mythology from the very beginning. We'll talk about the creation of Japan itself, and we'll move on with the birth of the first gods. Um, but because Japan has so many spirits, if you could choose to meet any spirit from Japan, like, would you pick a spirit from the mountains, rivers, or forests, and why?
I think mountains. Oh, no. I think forests, and because I'm an earth sign, and I just like that energy. Plus,
Hmm.
also, Japan has some really spooky forests.
Yeah, they do. The suicide forest?
Yeah, that one in particular, but I don't like I first heard about that listening to Morbid podcast,
Mhm.
and at first I was like, "Oh my god, like, that sounds crazy, I wanna go there." And then I was like, "Bitch, you are not mentally stable enough to go to the fucking suicide one. What are you doing? No, you don't wanna go
I
there."
know. I said the same thing. I was like, "Hmm,
Especially because there are some people that,
mm."
like, they say they go in, like, normal or, like, happy and, like, still which I know, like, you never know what's happening on the inside, like, but people go in not depressed, and sometimes they come out, but now they're depressed, but sometimes they go in and they don't come out because
They go and
yeah,
themselves, yeah,
yeah,
unalive.
yes.
They go and unalive themselves. Yeah. So I want to know what spirits in that forest make people crazy enough to come out depressed when they go in all hunky dory.
Yeah, don't
But,
know. I'd be
but
interested.
anyways, yeah. So, again, if you could meet a spirit of the mountains, rivers, or forests, which one would you choose and why? Share your thoughts on our socials. And
Which one did you pick? Did you pick?
oh, no, I didn't. Sorry, forgot. Um, I honestly think rivers. I think it would be so fun to like meet a river spirit and I I'm not even the funny thing is I'm not even a water sign.
I
I am an
know.
I'm an air sign, but let me tell you, I water runs my entire life. I was an avid like I loved going in the pool. I love the beach. The sand sometimes gets really fucking annoying. Um I love the water. I love the beach. I love anything wet.
The Little Mermaid is
Let
your
me
favorite.
Little Mermaid's my favorite. Like I love it all. Any type like blue's my favorite color. It's been like like solidified in my life that water runs it. Um a lot of like whenever I do spells, a lot of it goes around like water. Like what kind of water am I going to use today? Chaos water or ocean water or full moon, like all of these things. So I'd probably want to choose river.
Nice.
Just the fuck? I just got a text saying, "Is the food burning?" Bitch, I don't know. I've been in here for an hour almost. Like, fuck.
All right. Well,
Um,
maybe you should go figure that out.
yeah. So, anyways, let us know who you would like to meet. And until next time.
Bye.